In a land that had long since forgotten the meaning of truth, there reigned a king not born to power, but assigned to it. King Alaric of the House of Valar wore a crown gilded in ancient rites older than the throne itself. His coronation was not the will of the people, nor the bloodline, but the decree of obscure order, an elite brotherhood of merchant knights, and scholars who traced their lineage through secret handshakes and buried glyphs. They governed from behind veils, manipulating history, kings, and wars like pieces on a chessboard. Alaric was betrothed into power, raised in marble halls, on the milk and prophecy of manipulation. He was told he was chosen, blessed, that he must rule, that only he could uphold the sacred harmony of the empire and capital. He obeyed at first, but the dreams began on the 12th year of his reign. They came as firelight visions, first subtle, then suffocating. He'd awakened the voices echoed through the throne room at night. You, who you think you are. Masked night draped in torn red banners appeared nightly in his dreams, whispering truths forbidden to say out loud. One night the king removed his helm. It was Alaric himself, but older, more haggard, with a scar over his left eye. You are a steward of a lie, the vision told him. The crown you wear is forged in deception. You are not a king, but a puppet. Alaric awoke sobbing, his royal chambers suddenly foreign. Driven by the pull of something higher than duty, he began to unravel the roots of the kingdom. In old cadences buried beneath the palace chapel, he found records, rituals, pledges, pacts not made with God, but with institutions pretending to speak for him. Men in robes, both British and American tongue, had created a lineage of divine rule to entrench the global economy of suffering, steering nations through fear and media. Alaric renounced his crown during the Festival of the Suns, shattering the ceremonial scepter against the marble in front of the people. "I am not your king," he shouted, his voice cracked. "I have been in the shadow of lies, placed here by the unseen hand. I reclaim my soul and offer it back to your own." The crowd stood still, unsure whether to weep or to cheer. The obscured order did not tolerate heresy. His wife, Queen Thalia, groomed since youth to serve at the same powers, declared him mad. The royal clerics labeled him the Antichrist reborn, the fallen one, come to deceive. His sons denounced him. Temples rang with sermons against his name. The global press, owned by the invisible oligarchy, portrayed him as a delusional traitor bent to destroying the civilization. So began the fractured age. Exiled into wildlands, Alaric knew and grew into something more than a man. He became a myth, a legend. He traveled through the ruins of the old world, the slums, the jungles, collapsing cities, gathering those who had tasted the truth but could no longer digest lies. Artists, monks, hackers, soldiers without wars, and children who refused to be shaped into consumers, they rallied behind the fallen king. Together they built a wired circle, a decentralized web of rebellion, devoted to tearing down the illusions of wealth and fame, the holy wars and televised truths. They sabotaged global ad networks, hacked economic systems, released forbidden text, and helped awaken hundreds of cities from the spell of comfort. What followed was not a clean revolution. It was brutal, and the order struck back with famine, engineered plagues, drone, data famines, and AI profits. But righteousness is not easily erased. In time, the order's own pillars crumbled, betrayed by their own children. who'd grown up watching Allegoric's message spreading in secret. One by one, nations refused old banks. Whole colonies declared independence from not the empires, but the whole systems itself. On the 59th year of his life, Alaric stood again in the grand forum. His beard was gray, his body frail, but his eyes burnt with clarity. "I was never your king," he said. "I was only a man who remembered. We are all free." The crowd, now million strong, said nothing. They knelt, not to worship, but to honor. Civilization did not return to what it was. It became something new, no longer ruled by thrones or corporations, but guided by memory. Memory of a man who shattered the crown to reclaim his name. And so Alaric was remembered not as a king, not as an antichrist, but as the first man to ever advocate power and become more powerful in itself.